Oh, here we go. All right. Good evening, everybody. So it is the two gods. That is Joel Llande and Chris Birch talking about everything to do with fitness. Basically, Joel, I couldn't get anyone else to fill the space, so it's just me and you chatting. That's how it's going to have to work tonight.
That'll be the best one.
It's going to be the best one. Of course it is. Of course it is. Right, let me just pull that back up. There we go. Cool. Right, so, mate, I'm going to hit you with a first question. Like, these are just questions I've randomly picked off the internet, and they're all based with fitness, so you don't need to worry, mate.
Anything. Ask me anything.
Any questions off the internet? Yeah. Okay, so what do you reckon? How often should you work out in a week?
It depends on your goals, really. I mean, if you're big, I mean, there's no set rule that you should work out, 4 times. 4 times is probably optimal for the majority of people.
Yeah, I would have definitely said the same thing. Like 3 to 4 times a week, I think is a good number to be training at. Definitely what we've talked about over the last 10 weeks or whatever about recovery being a really important part of that. Some people that are going out and doing 5 or 6 sessions in a day just because they haven't got anything else to do is probably not the best idea to be doing. But I think you're right. Yeah, I mean, most people, they're going to be, if they haven't done anything in lockdown and they feel like, I just want to get back to maybe once a week. I think it's enough sessions to become a long-term habit. Do you agree?
On your training age, a lot of things is like, if your training age is quite high and you say like you're deadlifting, I don't know, you're going for a 1 rep max of 200, 250 or whatever, you're going to need time to recover from that. If your deadlift is like 30k or whatever, you can probably pay it a couple of days later. It's no problem. Yeah. It depends on what you're training for in terms, there's no set rule how many times you should train to work. If you're training for strength, you need a little bit longer. If you're training endurance, by all means, you could probably train like, if you're doing a running, you probably do a couple of 5Ks a week, a long run and some sprint training.
Jesus, that'd kill me.
Exactly, kill a lot of people, but it depends what you're training for. It really does.
I think generally, I think a good number to go with is, obviously people don't want to just do this for a short period of time. I think, doing some form of exercise regularly is obviously, as we all know, is something that's going to benefit you in the long term. So I think sticking to a number that you believe is achievable for you to do. There's no point going, how many people are you seeing going, right, I want to come and train 5 days a week. And you're like, all right, let's just start off with maybe once or twice a week. Let's get that as a regular pattern into your normal day.
I read an interesting article the other week. It's totally is to this. We're not professional athletes. We're average Joes. That why should we train like our bollocks off every day when all we want is a good physique and not be fat basically and have a good level of fitness? That's what we're going for. We're not trying to kill ourselves in a gym. So for majority of people, 3 to 4 times a week is plenty. It really is.
Yeah. I agree, mate. I agree. Right, you got one for me.
Have I got one for you? I'm going to have the fun ones. So this is going to be, how many cows have you eaten in a lifetime? Not your lifetime, but in a lifetime on average.
Because in your lifetime, that'd be a lot more than in my lifetime.
Yes, because I'm that much older than you.
Mate, I've got no idea. Absolutely no idea. I'm assuming that you consume more calories as a baby than you would do as an adult.
Now, this is a lifetime from birth to when you're dead. The average, not you, the average human.
Mate, I've got no idea.
Come on, have a guess.
Jeez. I don't know. 100,000.
100,000? You mental? Cows?
Mate, you tell me. I don't know.
100,000 cows.
100,000 calories.
Jesus, I always knew you were bad at maths, but 100,000 cows. Jesus, Birchie. All right, the average human, according to this, the average person will chomp down on 7,000 animals in their lifetime.
Oh, 7,000 animals?
Yeah, 7,000 animals, and only 11, Chris, 11. 11 cows.
Sorry, I thought you meant calories, not cows.
I said cows.
I thought you meant calories. I was like, no, like actual cows. Now I get what you're saying.
1,000 cows. I know you're a high protein and all that.
Like these pigs. Yeah, 11 sounds a good number. 11 sounds a good number. Wowzers. All right, I've got one for you. Do you know how many calories it takes you to burn 1 pound of fat?
Yeah, 3,500.
Oh my God! Have you just Googled that?
Just bang, told you.
I didn't know that. It was an interesting fact. All right, so since you got that one right, I'm going to give you another one. So look, are ab exercises the most effective way to lose extra fat around the belly?
No, next. Sharp to the point. Don't mess it up.
All right, come on then. So tell me what you would advocate for someone to lose fat around the abs, because the constant, you get clients that sort of come and go, when are we going to do ab work? When are we going to do ab work? My abs don't feel anything. The abs don't feel. When am I going to get rid of this belly fat? Yeah. So what would be your, say, top 3 things to reduce belly fat?
So top 3 exercises: compound lifts,
Yeah.
Deadlifts, squats, lunges, blah blah blah. And then it will be unilateral work to make your trunk work. So if I'm doing a lunge, I'd hold a weight on this side to make my trunk and torso work. Yeah. The other one probably static work, so isometrics, planks and stuff like that, just to build your core. So it would help with the compound lifts. So a lot of people have no idea what their core is. It's a buzzword, engage your core. Most people, what's that? But if you're bracing in the squat, you can lift more. You're bracing, you can deadlift more. If you're bracing and you start doing unilateral work, only one dumbbell, you're not going to cause any. And I think the industry is lacking in terms of prescribing exercises for unilateral work to try and correct people. Everyone's got issues. Not one person I've ever met has got, they're symmetrical. One's leg stronger than the other, and it's just working from side to side. That's the best way to start working your trunk.
I mean, a lot of the stuff that, back in the day when we were teaching Pilates and stuff like that, that I was always sort of come to the conclusion that core strength for me was shoulder to shoulder, hip to hip. So if you've got, as you just saying, if you're squatting and your shoulder stability is forward, this is no way going to be able to hold you up. And it's the same in the hips. If the hips are internally rotated, they've got no hip mobility, you're going to find that the core area isn't going to work. I always trying to explain it like a bridge. If the 2 ends of the bridges aren't strong, the middle is going to collapse.
Oh, totally.
So if you see someone doing a plank and their back's arching out, it's generally that their shoulders are shaking or their feet are slipping out. So I think that shoulder stability and hip mechanics, exactly what you're saying, which will help with unilateral work. You haven't got 2 legs or 2 arms to keep you stable, and doing them compounding movements in combination, I think that's definitely a good way to go. What would you say, regardless of exercise? So my sort of take on reducing that belly fat, and the way that I've sort of explained it to clients, is if you've got a pint of water and that water is muscle, and then you put oil in it, that oil is going to sit on the top, so that's your fat. So it doesn't matter how much you exercise or increase the water content, that oil is always going to stay on there, and that change in that oil consumption is going to be down to diet, changing of reducing your toxicity levels, increasing hydration. Anything else that you would say that would kind of help contribute to that reduction? I mean, stress is a massive one.
Well, as I say, abs are made in the kitchen. I mean, that's basically what you've just said. But there's lots of people who are trying to beast themselves in the gym to try and get rid of the belly fat. And science has basically said, if you take a moderate intensity, like going for a long walk, you can tap into your fat supplies. Everybody's too het up and like HIIT training at the moment. It seems to be the in thing at the moment. It's just trying to kill themselves every day, which, as you know, would bring up your cortisol, especially in the morning. Doesn't help with belly fat. They'd be better off maybe having a little sleep in and going for a long walk in the morning rather than trying to kill themselves.
Definitely. I mean, that was I know you're going to give me a question in a minute, but that was another question that I did have, and it just follows on. Like, do you think working out in the morning would be better for you than working out in the evening? I mean,
it depends on the individual. I'm not a morning person. I think you are.
You're definitely not a morning person.
I'm not a morning person. No, my ideal time to work out is probably mid-afternoon, which about 3 o'clock, which has been proven that your testosterone is highest about 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
But some people are morning people. Some people, are buzzing when the sun comes up. If that's you, yeah, I mean, that'd be a great time to exercise. But
I think, also, as you said, it's got to also fit in with your normal routine, hasn't it? It's got to be consistent. So, if you are people going back to London, or, you've got to be on a meeting call in the morning, you haven't got that time to go to the gym in the morning. I mean, I do have some clients that don't feel like they can train in the evening because they are exhausted, and they've just got nothing left. And as we were saying, it goes back to that cortisol level and that autonomic nervous system and controlling it. If I've if I've been out on the piss, which don't generally happen unless I'm with you, mate.
Yeah.
Having dodgy food the night before, you know, I'm going to be waking up because proper tired. So I know that I'm not going to be ready to train at that particular time. You know, I'm going to be hungover, etc., dehydrated. So I think again, you know, just coming back to the question, I think it is just 100% dependent on the individual and I guess the environment that you're in. You know,
It's the environment. I mean, a lot of talk about the circadian rhythm, you know, when the sun comes up, when it goes down, and getting your body in tune. And there's been, you know, there's proof that people, you know, are morning people. There are people that, you know, are night owls. It is just the individual.
yeah.
Without doing blood tests and measuring testosterone, there's no way. But, you know, you can feel yourself. If you're not a morning person, you feel lethargic and a bit sluggish in the morning, you ain't going to get your best training session out.
Yeah. The other thing, if you know that you want to stay up later at night, I'm not you know, as soon as it gets past a certain time, I need to be going to bed. Whereas
Yeah.
I know for yourself, you could stay up a bit later and later and later in the night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely more of a night owl. I mean, I'm trying to change it to, you know, go to bed earlier. But it's hard. I'm just not normal. It's not my usual rhythm.
And you don't need to. You're not in a job that needs to. Really, you could train your clients later on in the day, or
Yeah.
you know, now we're seeing it's more of a virtual thing anyway, isn't it?
I mean, me personally, in a perfect world, I'd get up and I'd train probably about 10 o'clock. That'd be my personal, or, you know, or a little bit later, about 3. That'd be my personal touch. I can't. For me, if I get up at 6, I go for a walk just to wake myself up. Only 20 minutes, half an hour, just get my body moving. I can't see myself, you know, trying to kill myself at 6:30 a.m. in the morning.
And I guess it depends again on that sort of type of training as well, doesn't it? Like I can't really see myself doing heavy lifts at 6:30 in the morning.
Well, your body hasn't had time to wake up. It's been still. It's been horizontal for the last 8 hours, and suddenly you're going to do the biggest lift of your life.
Yeah.
Nah.
Oh, great. All right, bud. What you got for me? Come on.
What have I got for you?
Question.
You got a man that's 100 pounds overweight. He comes to see you, and he says, "I want to lose that 100 pounds. How long is it going to take him?"
Well, we talk about as you pounds, 2.2 pounds to a kilo. So I would probably go for more of a kilo drop, but you're probably looking at 2.2 pounds per week on an average drop. That's what I would probably look at. So my first thing that I would look at for any client that first comes to see me is first of all look at their overall lifestyle. So look at what they're actually doing Monday to Friday, what calories they're eating, how active they are, and small little changes. That's definitely something that I would throw in. Can I change are they having breakfast? Are they having snacks? Are they eating late at night? You know, what's their sleep patterns like? That's the first thing that I would try to do and establish a routine within the first 2 weeks. Then start to talk to them about what things can we change. I mean, looking at digestion, I think that's definitely something that everyone needs to have a little look at. I had a client the other day that's telling me that they're eating 6,000 calories a day and she's tiny. And you think, well, that kind of tells me you're either not absorbing or you're definitely not digesting the right type of. The next question is, how many times will she go to the toilet?
That's amazing.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. So look, going back to the question, I think you know, you're probably looking at, I don't know, 2 years worth of work, I reckon, but be a consistent drop over that time. You know, when people see that massive drop in a short period of time, we know that there's going to be a drop in a lot of tissue, and we don't want that to happen. We want a fat loss drop and not a muscle mass drop. So more than 2.2 pounds or a kilo drop every week. More than that, I would say that they're losing more mass, so more muscle mass than they are doing.
When I put it out there, 100 pounds is quite a lot of weight to lose. I mean, you're talking about a big guy or a big woman there.
A lot of it's going to be water as well, isn't it? Their first drop is going to be
water
retention. You know, that's what the other thing that I don't think people really understand. You know, I know if I have a pizza on a weekend, the next day, because I weigh myself every single day, I know my weight can go up nearly 2 kilos. And it's not because of the pizza being massively, you know, fatty, if you like. It's going to be more about there's a high level of salt, which is retaining my levels of fluid. So I know over the next 2 days, if I up my water intake, my weight then averages out. So that's kind of how I've been doing it with a lot of my clientele, is doing the 7-day average. So I do a wake, weigh every single morning. They wake up, have a wee, weigh themselves. And that 7-day average, that number is the number, that average number is the number that I'm looking at for that weight loss to happen. Okay, so it's a constant. And also what it does for me is it shows me, you know, gee, I might not have drunk enough fluid yesterday because my weight's slightly elevated. And it kind of gives me that target to look for every single week, not just, well, I stepped on the scales on a Monday and, you know, it was up by 2 kg. Oh, I'm not going to bother doing this. It lose motivation. So for me to have 7 numbers to kind of get that average, for me, it's a lot more motivating to see clients see.
No, yeah, it tells a story. It tells a story. You'll be good all week, and then you had a massive binge on Saturday night.
It does tell you. But if that's kind of someone's lifestyle, if that's what they're doing and that's what they're committing to, I know you're saying that they want to lose his £100, but if that's what they're committing to, you know, okay, that's going to fit in with their lifestyle. If they want a quick fix, that's a different scenario, and I don't think that's, in my eyes, a sustainable and a healthy way to lose that level of weight. I think you need to have a gradual drop as you go through. Increase your mass, decrease your fat content. You're going to find that it's going to accelerate a lot quicker. I mean, what about you? Same?
What, if I had a £100 client?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd still take that ratio of roughly £1 a week. So if he said how long will it take, I'd be 100 weeks. What was that? 52 weeks a year. That's a couple of years, as you said, to try and get his weight down. But everyone thinks it's all exercise. It'll be there, you know, I need to kill myself in a gym. And if you're £100 overweight, you're definitely consuming far too much. So it'd be what you're putting into your gob, first of all, you'd be looking at.
Or not putting into your gob.
Yeah, true.
You know, you might not be eating at all and then be having copious amounts of, you know, Diet Coke or, you know, something like that. You know, there's got to be a... True, that's true, that is true.
Still, calories in, calories out. At the end of the day, you look at any diet, you look at whether it be paleo, whether it be like a green diet, it's all reduction in calories.
Yeah.
You know, the old adage, eat less, move more, it's true across the board. You know, a lot of people, Diet Coke, yeah, that'll be out, sugars out, salts out if they can. But a lot of people, you know, a lot of it's up here in terms of their overeating.
Yeah, and that level of, again, that control of that autonomic nervous system, how stressed they are, how stressed the environment is. So I sort of came up, not I came up with these ideas, but stuff that I've done over the years. I've sort of talked about a lot about if your phone only had 10% battery life in it, like what would you do? What would you do? You wouldn't think, I need to download a film, I need to like do my tax return, I need to, you know, take loads of pickies.
I never think that, never.
Thinking,
if my battery is full, that's the last thing I'll be thinking about.
Where the bloody hell's the charger? I need to charge it. Yeah. So how I look at it is the body, I believe the body is the same thing. It's this electrical current. And if you've only got 10% battery life, I'm not going to then be going into doing a HIIT class. I'm definitely not going to be going in and doing a low calorific diet. I definitely ain't going to be, you know, doing a water cut. So for me, trying to recharge that body is probably the first thing that I'd be telling people to be doing. So the first thing that I would say, the least important thing on my list, going back to what we were saying about food is probably the least important thing on my list. It's something that you can tangibly change, but it's not that important. How long could you survive without eating and not really increase in weight? You could do it a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, month maybe. Yeah. How long could you last? Next thing would be hydration. So a couple of weeks without fluid before the body starts to deteriorate. A day. Well, longer than you would do with food.
2 days without water.
Do you know how long it takes before the body shuts down with no sleep?
Something crazy. It's not very long, is it?
14 days.
14 days, is it? 14
days, yeah. So I think it's like 12 days, your body starts to become psychotic. 14 days, your body starts to proper shut down. So that sleep is probably my third important thing to manage people to recharge that system. And then the last thing that I would probably say is breathing. So that sympathetic, parasympathetic in relation to your environmental stress. You know, if you've got 2 kids, you're working hard, you know, you're working long hours, you're not eating well, you know, there's going to be an increase in that level of sympathetic drive. So trying to reduce as much of them stresses as you can. So thinking that I've had a long day and then I've got to go down the gym and smash it out, that's not a stressor that you need to be adding into your life. You need to be reducing it. And the same what you were saying at the beginning, you probably need to stay at home, you know, have a good meal, get to bed early.
Yeah, yeah.
Not feel like you have to go and smash it out at the gym.
There is a flip side to that, and I might have to round this up because my Mac's just telling me that it's getting a low battery and I haven't got a charger. So
Exactly, you need to be charging it. We shouldn't be chatting then.
I know, but there's a lot of buzzwords about everyone needs to rest and everyone's overtraining, but a lot of people are losing the conception that you do have to work pretty hard to get into shape, and I think a lot of people are missing that idea. Like, oh, I'm having a rest day, I'm having a cheat meal. Sometimes you just got to put your head down and grind it out.
Yeah. But how would you monitor that? How would you know when the right time is?
What, to train hard?
Yeah, to train hard.
Well, if you know you've only had 6 hours sleep and you're totally stressed, you know not to put it in. If you want to cut your workout down a little bit, cut it down a little bit.
Yeah, so I think that's what we're saying. I think monitoring your food, your hydration, your sleep quality.
It's important to monitor everything.
That is probably the take-home message for people to understand, that if you're monitoring it and seeing them changes. I mean, I know your battery's going to go, but we were talking about going and getting some bloods done before COVID hit. And I think that's probably a good shout for a majority of people to get their bloods done on a yearly basis. So you got that baseline of information. So when we do get into our 40s, 50s, 60s, if there is a change in them numbers, in them markers, you'll know straight away if there's something that's slightly wrong. I think that's a really
without markers, you're just shooting in the dark without going in and just for basic, you're benching and you're not seeing it going up. You're just putting weight on what willy-nilly. You're not seeing those small increments, progressive overload and everything, whether it be reduction in calories each week, whether it be seeing your weight going up, whether it be seeing your heart rate coming down, whether it be seeing your steps going up. Any results you can get, any data you can get, it's all going to help in the long run.
Yeah, mate. I think that at least one thing that people can take away from this chat is I think that if they go back to the gym, they need to measure as much as data as they can. If they're measuring their workouts, as you were saying, their food, their hydration, their sleep quality, and all that data, and then you bring that to someone like yourself, you're going to be like, this is happy days. Yeah, we can get straight on this. We can design it straight away. So I think that's probably a little take-home message for everyone to make sure that they're doing is measuring as much data as they can. Yeah, and it doesn't take very much to do, weighing yourself in the morning, how much water you having, how much food you having. Yeah, it's easy.
Just having a plan and sticking to it. That's the secret of getting fit.
That's it, mate. Buddy, I appreciate your chat.
Pleasure, mate.
I'll speak to you soon, yeah?
I'll speak to you soon, mate.
All right, buddy, take it easy. Bye now.
Okay, bye.